For example, there are many challenges, for example, traffic management in our cities. We need now our entrepreneurs to be looking at developing apps that can solve traffic management, that can be sold to city councils, to the government in order to manage traffic management. That would show which routes are congested, where an accident has happened. In South Africa, at Starsoft, these were young gentlemen, actually around 18, 20, 21, actually developing applications that are being used in different industries to solve emerging problems in the cities and also in industries. We were able to also see another company that is actually doing furniture and providing furniture to different companies. In fact, they started with a small company, but now they have 7 big branches in South Africa, from Pretoria, Cape Town, all those places they have actually developed now branches, and they are providing furniture to all those companies that are, or offices that are starting in South Africa. So these are the areas that we need to look at. Value addition, horticulture, and we're talking about even mineral processing. These are the areas that we should be looking at. So we need to, as we go out today, I'm not saying that you should stop your businesses, but you need to look at those businesses that can solve problems in the future and that can stand the test of time with the challenges that we are facing. Currently, I think we are talking about now this COVID pandemic, but how long do we know this is going to last? Now the challenges that we are facing is that people cannot go out to buy products. They have to go online purchasing. So we need to develop those applications and see how we can solve those problems. Today, we are pleased that we have partnered with NICOM because we are all government entities, but addressing problems with the youth. And we want the youth to be engaged in businesses. And that's where SMED comes in. We know the many challenges that you are facing, for example, access to finance, access to markets, and those are the areas that we will be addressing with our partners. SMED and NICOM, we are partnering, we have partnered with MBS to make sure that we do hand-holding of you youth enterprises so that you can have your products certified. You can have your products standardized. You can have free training so that you can move very quickly to come with products that can go on the market and even go on export. That's the way that we should be going. We have partnered with the FDH Bank, and they are the ones actually also have shown interest to give you funds, but you need to get the right proposals, business proposals. We have also partnered with National Bank, and I'm sure press, they have listened, the Old Mutual, they have listened, they have funds. These people are swimming in money, and we need them to release the monies so that they can go to the entrepreneurs that are here that can develop this country. The MBS program, we are starting this year with 250 entrepreneurs that would want to have their products certified and should go on the market. Already we have given the 80 names that are now being trained into standardization. And they have gone there for free, on free training and subsidized certification process. Now I would like to invite all of you that would want to have your products certified to meet us, I think National Youth Council, and also our directors, and submit your names so that we can put you in the next cohort of entrepreneurs that should have their products certified. Lastly, the Director of Youth you can be assured that you have left the functions of making youth entrepreneurs vibrant and to make contribution to this country in the right hands of SMEDI and National Youth Council. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Good news, isn't it, entrepreneurs? You don't seem excited. I'm excited for you, but you're not excited. Tikunena kuti kugwira ntchito limodzi achinyamata, ma business achinyamata kunyamuka limodzi. And if there is something you're going to get out of this place tonight is to understand that we're talking about leveraging partnerships, harnessing synergies, and moving together. We have tried to go solo, season ayende. Maybe it's time we try picking up and going up together. Let me invite Dr. Lighton Chitambo from Press Corporation to give us his remarks. Dr. Chitambo. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know with my height whether I should stand here or I should stand. That's what, I don't know. Are you able to see me? Okay, I'll try to stand, but I thought with my height I can stand below the podium, but it's okay. Before I make my remarks, I think because of what the National Youth Chief Executive said, I didn't write it because I'll read my speech. I've gotten to reading speeches because in my first life I tried preaching, and in one of the sessions I was given, I preached for 3 hours. And you know religious people are very polite, isn't it? They were all there. But now I've come to understand that that can't work in the corporate world. We have to be very disciplined. So that's the reason why I restrict to reading, but also not to be misquoted, especially by reporters. So I'll read my speech, all right? But because what I want to say was not written, I just want to say, I think there's importance in coming together. So it's important that the youth that are here should read a book by a professor of Stellenbosch University, is Herman Gillom. Herman Gillom, he released the book in 2019. The title of the book is The Rise and Fall of the Afrikaner People. It's a politics book, but I think if you read the principles that are in that particular book, you will really see the need why we, as young entrepreneurs in Malawi, we need to come together, because the Afrikaners did the same in about 90 years ago, and the results have been very astonishing. That's why you see companies like Sanlam. Sanlam, it was a combination of so many young people in the early 20th century coming together, putting their resources and ideas together. Sanlam today is in Malawi. There are so many other companies that they did, but that was done around the 1901, 1902. You get all those things in the book that Herman has written very, very recently in 2019. Leave the other politics, but I think it's a very good book for people coming together. Before I read my speech, CEO, you will excuse me. I had written it addressing the Minister of Youth. He's not here, so I will still be referring to the Minister of Youth, but Director, you will forgive me. Because that's a problem of reading, but I can't do otherwise. So, so you will see, oh, Honorable Minister, Rule Musungama, but that's what I was told, so Director, please pardon me because of that. But also let me make one more exception. I'm not an entrepreneur, and I'm very afraid to stand in front of very, very many entrepreneurs in Malawi. I really didn't know that we have so many upcoming entrepreneurs like you. Not that I haven't tried entrepreneurship, I've done so. I've tried so many, about 4. All of them I failed. I tried tailoring. I ran a successful consultancy firm for 4 years. But I had to stop Of course, I had to make more commitment to the corporate world, so that's why I haven't continued. So I'm not an entrepreneur, and I'm glad that I wasn't given a speech to speak about entrepreneurship. So thank you very much for the topic that you chose for me. Otherwise, I could not have known what to speak to the people here. There was another exception, but I think we'll see as we read, okay? The things that are not applicable, please just take them out, you understand? Because it's not a speech about entrepreneurship or this or that. There was a specific topic that I was given, so I will restrict to that. So the Minister of Youth, in this case the Director of Youth, senior ministry officials that are here tonight, the Chief Executive of National Council, Dingiswayo Jere, and your executive team, distinguished gentlemen, but also let me make a special mention of Bishop. I'm glad that he's here representing the organization that he mentioned. When he started, he bounced it off with me. I looked at it, I was like, what is it that really this wants to achieve? But now, I think we all need to have responsible fathers in Malawi, not so? So I think it's a good initiative, so I just want to recognize him specifically for that. Again, one exception I've remembered now. One exception is most of the things I speak here will be my own things, not really press corporation views, you understand? It's very important in the corporate world to make that distinction. I know many of you know what Press Corporation has done in as far as promoting entrepreneurship. Actually, it's the biggest entrepreneur in the land, one of the biggest entrepreneurs in the land. So most of the views will be quite variant video, but I'll be hinting on what Press Corporation also has done. Maybe I should make, I know the Chief Executive of CIMED says there's a lot of money in Press Corporation, all bring here. In Press Corporation, we believe that money is not everything. But ideas is everything, all right? Ideas is what can push us forward. So for some of the young entrepreneurs who are here, some of you, you have grown your business to a certain level and you don't know what to do. Our doors in Press Corporation are open. Come to us. Open up your businesses and say, we want more money here. Can we work together? So we look at your business plan, we look at your projection. So we say, okay, for the work you have done, sir, take 20%, give us 80% so that we grow the business together. So don't just be afraid. Come to us, knock to us. If you knock to us and say, oh, give me money, I think they'll be saying, no, don't listen to him. But if you come with your business plan, if you come with your ideas, if you say the competition is tough, we want a big player to back our ideas, Press Corporation is there. We can listen to your story, and once we listen to your story, we'll see whether money is what is needed, we'll see whether the technical expertise is what is needed, or we'll see whether we really have to partner together and grow the business together. So our doors are open. Just knock on my door. I'll welcome you. I've actually welcomed 2 young entrepreneurs this year. One of the guys said, can we do a broking business, insurance broking business, together with Press Corporation? So he started his story. I listened. Of course, I didn't take it forward because he was thinking small. He comes to me and says, oh, we'll be making money, 70 million, 100 million. So I was like, maybe we can talk on privately, you and me, all right? Not Press Corporation and you, because we want to see the big numbers, all right? The projections, that is. So if you think your business can grow big, please find us and we'll be able to work together and see how we can compete in the market. Now back to the reading business. I would like to thank the Youth Council leadership for inviting me to address this forum this evening. I'm delighted to be here to see so many dedicated people to young cause in the group. Many of you, I know many of you here, you have been championing youth causes for quite a long period of time. I know Dingiswayo using during his college days through SCOM and all other things. There have been champions of youth initiatives, and so it's good to see that you are continuing to be committed ambassadors all your life. I know I will skip because I've already spoken on that one. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to discuss ideas, to learn from each other, and to find new approaches. As Ban Ki-moon, many of you know Ban Ki-moon, he was a UN Secretary General. He said, our forefathers knew that you do not just rebuild broken societies with bricks and mortar, but with ideas and values. Honorable Minister, already Director of Youth, ladies and gentlemen, Ideas and values is what has deserted Malawi today. We can have a change of guard of leadership level, be it at government or private sector, but as long as there's no new ideas, then it will be more of the same. This forum, therefore, is very timely. The youth should take a lead in generating ideas for our advancement as a society. The title that was given to me to speak tonight was the role of the youth in promoting economic development. So again, CEO, one of the exceptions is wherever they've given me a title, I don't stick to the title. So you will forgive me tonight if what I read may not be exactly related to this. But when I looked at the title, it's a very straightforward title. The link between the youth and economic growth should be a straightforward one. The link, I've already read there. Young people get on in life and the economy grows every step they take. The main challenge, however, is that in Malawi, the youth are hardly moving. And if they are moving, then it's at a snail's pace. That's the area that all of us here should bang our heads and generate ideas. Why are the youth not moving? It's not only for the government, but for all of us. And why am I saying so? It's because the issue of the youth and national development is one of the most, in most cases, depends a lot on population of a country and the current generation also. I strongly believe, and I could be right, that the national development is a product of collective effort of people of the country more than the effort of the government. The work is done, the work is done by the people, and the advancement happens because the working class, and thus the responsibility of national development, falls on the shoulders of the citizens of the country. So how can we, the people of the, again, I've skipped one sentence, but as long as you've heard the message, that's fine. I'll go to another one. So tonight, this should be our focus. It is big, but we can start from the youth themselves. The youth play an important role in the progress and the development of our nation, and they constitute the majority of the portion of the total population of the country. The efforts of the youth can help in rapid growth and development of our nation. Youth are the building blocks of the economic and social development of the nation. Therefore, focusing on the youth as the agents of development and economic growth is a spot on, and thank you for giving me that particular topic. Again, this is in line with Agenda 2063. Some of you have heard that. Malawi now has a new blueprint of, we like this case of selling dreams to people, all right? Oh, we'll be okay in 2063. Imagine when I was young in Blantyre here. When someone mentioned 2020, I was imagining, high-rising building in Bayani everywhere. 2020 came, nothing of that happened. But that's what we like to do. So the role of youth in economic development is very much aligned to the blueprint of the government, which is Agenda 2063, even African Union, that young men and women are the critical agents of change in a society. Young people represent the future and are critical building blocks for social cohesion, economic prosperity, and political stability of a country. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the youth can play this role if there's a conducive policy environment, and that can be provided by the government. Now, here is an interesting one. I will skip here, all right? Because this one I had actually taken the political manifesto of the Honorable Minister. So I wanted to read in his front. So I will skip because he's not here, isn't it? So I will skip director, but you can read from it because the point I wanted to make is that we can have so many ideas, but the things that the politicians generated in their manifesto are enough to make us move forward. So I think that in the speech, reporters, you read and quote them, okay? In Malawi, 30% of the people are between 15 and 35, that's the age. These statistics, I've picked them from the national statistics. So if you have got your own statistics, please keep them. These ones are from the national statistics and as of 2019, all right? They're saying 30% of the people are between 15 and 35. This means that Malawi has the youngest population in the world. So if young couples, this is where now my fear comes, if young couples continue to have many children, as our parents did, then our youth population will remain large, and our government will continue to struggle to provide the needs of the youth of today, like providing adequate school, health workers, and facilities. We also know that Malawi has experienced stagnation in economic development for the past 15 years. Again, this is not my statistics. World Bank statistics released today. They have said that for the past 15 years as a country, we have not made any progress in poverty alleviation. I may not agree with it, but that's how the case is. The problem with that is that if there's that too much poverty, the youth are the ones that are greatly affected in a nation. That's the most difficult thing if there's no low growth. So again, according to the statistics that we have, is that 1 in every 5 Malawians are unemployed. Unemployment is even higher among young people. Nearly 1 in 3, that's 28% of the young people between ages 15 and 35 are unemployed. Again, statistics provided by World Bank and also commented by The Nation online today. The Malawi youth, to borrow my money, you know Musi Maimane, he used to be opposition leader in the South African parliament, is battling under the burdens of unemployment, crime, and in many other issues like an equal education system. So the youth unemployment has reached epic proportions. Why is this the case? Because of lack of industrialization. We have urbanized, but we have lacked industrialization. So what we have seen over time is that people move from the rural areas to come to town. When they come to town, there are no industries. There are no, many young entrepreneurs to employ them. So as a result, what they do the jobs that probably we cannot unleash the potential from the young people. And that's the main problem that we are facing. I know that as CIMED, I know as the National Youth Council, your focus is broader and is wider. It's not only to the employed youth, it's not only to the entrepreneurs, but it's all the youth that are here in Malawi. So these statistics are important for planning and be able to know what kind of a policy it can help to uplift so many people out of poverty. Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for us to harness the power of the youth in economic development, we need a multi-stakeholder approach. Everyone has to play their part. On the part of the government, again, I'll skip this because it was relevant to the minister, and I think I just outlined the things that I picked from the Tonse Manifesto from page 48, and that relates to the youth. So I've quoted the page here, and I've quoted all the things that they mentioned on that particular page. So I will not read them. I think they are there. But I think the last one is important because they said that in the next 5 years, they will engage the youth in positive activities through churches, ngos, private sector, and voluntary organizations that support the development of necessary personal and social skills. Why is this important? It's because it's exactly what Dingiswayo and the CEO CIMED is doing. Engaging the youth, engaging the entrepreneurs, so that we move together forward. So this was already looked at by the politicians. I think what we are doing is operationalization. I think we are on the right track if this can be turned into proper actions. Again, this I will read because if I don't read, I will miss the other part. But again, relates to the minister. Honorable Minister, you can see from the above that there's nothing under the sun which is new. I have stated above that what you and your colleagues promised in your manifesto on page 48, I've picked it there, it's verbatim word for word. And I don't need to look further because whatever is there is what is happening right now. Do not underestimate the power of engagement. I was moved here, I think one of the organizers, Peter, came to my office and said, you have to speak at this function. But then he said one of the motivation, he has changed from the first time I met him. The first time I spoke in Zomba, he didn't have a master's degree. Because of the talk that I made and the engagement that we had, he went on to get a master's, and I know now that he's also proceeding to somewhere to do a PhD. So the power of engagement, I know many businesses can really offshoot from here, or can change direction from this kind of engagement. So it's important that we continue to engage as envisioned by the National Youth Council as well as CIMED. But one thing which I think is missing from the blueprint, and I think this I address to the National Council as well as the CIMED, is that what we have as a blueprint does not address what is called illiteracy of the youth. And illiteracy of the youth, I refer to what I've called illiteracy of the literate, all right? Many people and many youth in Malawi now are getting education, they've got diplomas, they've got degrees, but many of them in real sense are illiterate, all right? They've got the papers, but they're illiterate. What do I mean? Or in other words, in the local language, I've called them Mbuliza Sukuru, all right? So we've got the papers, but necessarily we don't know what to do with the papers. So our problem really is not just you haven't gone to school. You've been to school, but after that, you don't know what to do. You don't know what is the next step. So I'll come to this point later to expound more exactly what I mean on that point. But I think maybe I can just emphasize the main problem that we have is that we don't read and write as a nation or as a young people. That's what is missing. Most of you, if I interrogate the last time you read a separate book, not for you to pass exam, I don't know. Some of you can't even mention the books that you have read. But there's a lot of knowledge in books. There is a lot of knowledge that we generate in writing. So this is a missing link in most of the youth today. Because if we don't harness the power of the youth to write, if we don't harness the power of the youth to read, then we are doomed. Because most of us now, we just read WhatsApp, not so. Our source of news is WhatsApp. So if WhatsApp says, let's go to the street, we all go to the street, isn't it? If WhatsApp says, let's do this, no. But I think what we need, if entrepreneurship is to be real, if growth is to be real, we have to harness the power of reading and the power of going beyond the areas that we know we can feel comfortable. Now, this is the part that the government has to do. But now, what is it that is relevant for you tonight? What is it that you can do to play your rightful role? Remember the topic that I was given, youth and economic development. So I've got a few things here before I'm rounding up. I don't want to stay here long. I've got a few things that I want to mention here. One, you have to work for the betterment of the country. Follow the Umuntu philosophy, the one that says, I am because we are. And that's exactly what Dingisayo is preaching. Let's come together, all right? Let's not be just selfish and say, okay, in a business kangaga, I'm operating in a small building in Jayamba, I'm okay. No. Open up and operate for the goodness of the country. Because most of us work keeping in mind our progress and forgetting that we all contribute to the development of the country in some way. We need to keep the bigger picture in mind always. We need to think how all of us can come together to make what the country should be today and in future. This will help us and will help us to shape the country together going forward. For many of us here tonight, this should mean deliberating investing in our small towns to rejuvenate the economic potential of those towns. To others, it will mean taking up local leadership positions in less attractive areas so that we help those communities get organized. It will involve personal sacrifice whose fruits, for this one, what I want you is, if you have read the history of the Israelis, the development of the Israeli society, I would want you to read the concept called kibbutzi concept, kibbutzi, K-I-B-B-U-T-S. Now, in the kibbutzi concept, we can all play our rightful role to make sure that we uplift the areas that are really deprived of economic potential, economic progress. Some of you entrepreneurs, if I ask all of you here, most of you are saying you are in Blantyre. Most of you are saying you are in Lilongwe. Don't you think you can make money in Data? Don't you think you can make money in Chewu? Or don't you think you can make money in Chitipa? So all I want is that you open up and say, you know what, I've started my entrepreneurship here. But can I be a big player? Because some of you are small here. But if you move and operate from Chewu, for instance, you'll be big. You make it big and you control the circulation of money in that particular area. In this respect, that's why I am glad that SMED has created a lot of incubation areas in various parts of the country, and that has to be replicated. I'll give you an example of a man that came to me. I know him. He came to my office about 6 years ago when I had just come back into this country. He was saying, I've tried so many businesses in Malawi, but in Blantyre, I'm failing. I'm failing to break through. So I said, okay, what should I do to help you? So he said, give me capital so that I can do better. So I said, no, you don't need capital. What are you doing here in Blantyre? So he said, I do ABCD, I run a small grocery here. So I said, okay, where do you come from? So he said, oh, I come from this particular district. So he mentioned. So I sat down with a plain paper. I said, in this particular district you have mentioned, there are these 4 trading centers, all right? So what you should do is you should relocate from here and go to one of the trading centers there. With a small capital there, control the local economy at that particular point, and let's have this conversation 3-4 years down. As I'm speaking right now, in that small trading center, it's along the M1 road. If you go in that small trading center, he's a big player there. He controls money. You mention his name, everybody knows him, all right? He sells plastic bags. He sells so many things. He's building small glossaries for people to rent in that particular small trading center. In Blantyre, it couldn't have been possible. Where do you buy land? All right? There you can just talk to those mamas and gogos and buy at a small what? At a small price. He did that as I'm speaking. He's a big player there. You go on that trading center. You mention his name. Everybody knows him. Because money there cannot circulate without going through him. All right? So let's open up our eyes and see how we can harness opportunities. It's very, very important. But also for some of us, we have to be very flexible in how we do our things, all right? Some of you are too rigid. You say, oh, I'm an engineer, me. I can't do this. All my businesses should be engineering. No. Be flexible and do things that goes beyond your comfort zone. That way is possible. And the flexibility is applicable even to people in the work environment. I was trained in accountants at the Polytechnic. I didn't know that I would be working in operations. I'm working in operations. My bread and butter is bread in operations at Press Corporation. But my training has been totally different. When I joined the Reserve Bank, I majored in risk management. And then from there, I majored in another thing. There has been flexibility over time. So for some of you, again, the fact that one business is not moving forward, you have to be very flexible. Move. I told you my story. I did tailoring. I did consultancy. You also have to be very flexible in how you approach the environment, be it the work environment or be it the entrepreneurship. But more importantly, you have to be a seer, all right? A seer, meaning someone, I'm a owner, muzu owner. Because the fact that you've got 2 eyes doesn't mean you see it. Yes, it doesn't mean you see. You can have 2 eyes, but you don't see. You have to have the ability to see what is happening and coming ahead of you. By seeing, I'm saying, don't just read WhatsApp, read so many sources so that you discover what is happening. I'll give you an example. For some of you who come from the lower Shire, if I come from the lower Shire, I will camp right there. Why should I camp right there? The government is putting about $100 million in the Shire Transformation Valley. I would have irrigation. Now, with your education and entrepreneurship, if you go right there, get land ready. When the government begins to land the pipe, they should run in what? In your land. In 5 years, you'll be big. All right? Don't sell that land. Even if they say they want to pass a road here, say, oh, they'll give you compensation and say, oh, no, I'll get a stake in this particular what? Business. 98 million is going in the Shire transformation. I've been pushing our companies, can you go there and buy land, please? Can you get the map from government and see where this is going? So that we have to be very close. You understand? You have to see. When the government goes there and put a irrigation pipeline, they will find my land there. And they say, oh, how much are you saying? And find the land, how much we're paying land there. It's very high. All right? So see and be able to rush before time, isn't it? It's very, very important. And some of you, there's solar projects. There are about 300 megawatts of solar projects that the PPAs were already issued. Some of you, you don't know the sites. And yet you are entrepreneurs. You supply things. Oh no! Get the government projects and say, where is this? All right? In one of the places I know, I knew that there would be a solar project. I went there. I bought land. I started building. All right? The problem is the builders they didn't have the same speed that I had. They would take 3 months to build a house. For me, I was saying, when these Europeans are coming to stay here, they will be staying in these houses. They came in January. The whole place has been taken. The whole place. All the lodges in that place, everybody, they have taken it for 1 year. This is a rural area, you understand? Because there's a solar project. There's another solar project coming at Bengu in Nzimba. 50 megawatts. I went there. There's no any good housing and all that. I said, if I had money, I would just be ready. You understand? I would just be ready. So you have to be a seer, see and be able to grab these opportunities before we call what is called what? First mover advantage. Be a first mover advantage. It's so important. The other way you can do, you get a government map and say, okay, kodi numukuti akalankula parliament much. Mise umumanga kuti. You understand? Mise umumanga kuti. Get the map and see the political map. Kaguleni malo kumene kuti akamabwera amada tikudula. They amakala kudula mlanji awe. So they give you capital. Say, oh yeah, take it. So they give you capital. And you start other businesses in Blantyre, all right? One of my colleagues did that. He bought a farm. He knew the government road would pass there. The government road divided his farm into two. He was given money to develop that particular farm. So be able to see. Some of you know the Cape Maclear project, which some people are pushing to transform Mangochi into a city. There's been a lot of talk, government, even the Minister of Tourism. Actually, government has adopted that project. As entrepreneurs, I know many entrepreneurs, especially our colleagues of Malawian of Asian origin. I've been there to Mangochi together with them, chasing people to buy land, because they know. All right? So be able to see and grab those opportunities before they come. Some of you are just interested in supplying, say, stationery to, like, say, bank, blah. Oh no, expand and do more. Okay? Sorry. That wasn't part of the script, sorry. The other one, finally, oh yeah, now it means I've overrun my welcome. Okay, the other one, be able to utilize resources effectively. As I said, money is not everything. One of my relatives came and said, okay, uncle, please, can you sponsor me for a gym? You know this thing about weight and all those things, eh? Oh yeah, so the gym is costing what? That is costing 20,000 per month. So I said, get lost, all right? I don't have that particular money. What happened? She thought outside the box. She now went to China shop. She asked for 2,000 to buy a rope, all right? Using the rope, she has lost about 10 kgs. She has motivated so many people following on WhatsApp, roping every night, you understand? So the problem wasn't money. The problem wasn't a gym. It was here. 2,000 kwacha, I was glad to sponsor 2,000 kwacha. But I couldn't sponsor 20,000 every month for a gym. What for? All right? So resource utilization is key in entrepreneurship as well as wherever you are. Okay, so as I'm closing, and really I'm closing, believe you me. There are two things I want you to take, especially for my colleagues, the young CEOs and those people like me who are in employment. The working environment has changed. It's no longer the working environment where you could get a job and stay for 20 years. No, those days are over, all right? Even in churches, they chase each other, right? You are a church pastor here, they chase you, go, all right? Even in employment, 20 years, 50 years, forget it. It has changed. What does that mean? It means you don't have a guarantee for a long-term job. You need to retrain every 5 years to go on the job market. It's very, very important, all right? Because companies that were built to last, they are no longer there. So I urge you to retrain. I urge you, I urge you to retrain. I urge you to do everything you can to be flexible and train and be able to overcome the challenges of our time. Because now you are faced with a shortened time of work employment. Every 5 years we are retrenching people. So retrenchment it no longer looks at age. Everybody can be retrenched. So that's why look at combining entrepreneurship as well as work. Let's push together as we move the country forward. The rest of the points are more political. I will not read because the minister is not here. But also pardon me for taking much of the time. Pardon me, CEO. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nkhani akuti tiendelele limodzi tipemphe kuti anzathu amene munadalisika ndi misinkhu na feso afupi mutithandize kuti titakufikira pamene muli. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Before I invite our guest of honor to give us her few remarks, tingonenako pang'ono kuti tinanena kuti National Youth Council cholinga chake ndi kubweretsa pamodzi achinyamata komanso kuonesesa kunena kuti tili ndi Youth Innovation Fund imene ili vibrant. Ndiye my colleagues will move around, mwina ena mwatenga kale this pledge card. tanena kuti ma CEOs amene muli muno, have you received the cards? Or my colleagues will move around aupereka ma card amenewo. So ku National Youth Council tikuikapo njira zosiyana-siyana zimene tikufuna kuti tithe kupezera resources kuti tikhoza kuthandiza achinyamata under the Youth Innovation Fund. Number one is the SMS platform. Imeneyoyo ndithu munthu akangopanga kutumiza mawu onena kuti naikomu amene wamapezeka kuti iyeyo walowa nawo mu SMS platform yathu. That's one way imene tikupezera ndalama. Other than that, komanso tili ndi 1 million to raise 1 billion. What we're saying is titapeza ma partners amene aliyense akhoza onena kuti I'm going to give 1,000 kwacha, and those partners are 1 million. We're going to raise about 1 billion that's going to support youth initiatives in Malawi. So we're urging you kunena kuti you can support this function. I know each one of you has a phone. Alipo amene alibe phone? Okay, let's just do this together. Just get out your phone. I know you are WhatsApping, but yeah, just for a minute. Aha, good. Now we just try step by step. You go Airtel mene majitira moja *211 hash. Akundi angana like, hey, see what's she trying to do? Yeah, okay. So kumene komukapita, you can send 1,000 kwaja to NICOM, NYCM. 1,000 kwaja. You push it, it means you are supporting the Youth Innovation Fund. Try and see if it's working. Just check and see if it's working. Yeah, *211, and then you go send money through the whole process. Then it's NYCM. You can try with, you can try even 50,000. Maybe it might not work. Just try and see. Yeah, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, NYCM, and then you push it through Airtel Money. That means you're supporting the Youth Innovation Fund. That way we'll be able to support young people. Now, this pledge card goes to you as individuals, as companies, that you can support National Youth Council, short-term or long-term, with monetary or in-kind. We know that we've got a pool of resource here, so you can say, okay, if you're in the company, we might not be able to provide cash, but you can send young people for internship at our company. You can rightly indicate that we're going to pledge in kind and we're offering our company to provide internship for young people. But you can also say, okay, if you're Timapanga Consultancy, we're going to help you build capacity for young people in financial literacy. That would be very welcome. So young people in rural areas or those that are in urban or peri-urban areas who may not be able to access these important skills, you can say, okay, we're going to help you build the capacity of young people. Instead of you paying consultants, we are partnering with National Youth Council to support young people. So you can indicate whatever area you might feel to support young people. Even in mentorship, support training, it's right there. So I'll allow you to go through that card. Has anybody tried successfully pushing through the Youth Innovation Fund? Chimwemwe, has it worked? It has. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, yeah, after praying about it, maybe talking to your spouses and spouses about it, and then you can come and support National Youth Council. That's it, through Airtel Money. Thank you very much for listening. At this time, allow me to invite the Director of Youth, Judith Msusa, to give us a few remarks.
The Chief Executive Officer for National Youth Council of Malawi, Mr. Dingshwai Jere, the Chief Executive Officer for SEMEDI, Mr. Roderick Chataika, Chief Executive Officer for Old Mutual, Madam Gia, General Manager Press Corporation, Dr. Jitambo, FDH Bank Representative, Mr. Nkunika, Director of Programs at Tiveta, Mr. Gomani, representatives from National Bank, NBS, and all other banks present here, young executives, members of the press, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I do not intend to take a lot of time. I believe this platform should be less talk and more interaction. So I will speak a little because being a last speaker, you run the risk of repeating what others have already said. So you bear with me where I'm going to repeat. And again, I would want to state at the onset that I'm going to make these remarks on behalf of the Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Musungama, who was supposed to be the guest of honor, but is equally tied up with government engagements. So he asked me, he delegated me to deliver a statement on his behalf. And the messages go. The Young CEO's cocktail being held today, I think some previous speakers have mentioned, is one in a series of three. The first one being held on 23rd April in Lilongwe, and then following that event, the minister received numerous calls as to what are the plans for the other regions, the southern region and also the northern region. So here we are today, hosting the second event with a follow-up in the north. I think you can see the dates there. We are going to have a third one up north. Just to mention also that the cocktail is being organized to celebrate and salute young people or young CEOs who, despite the numerous challenges that they face, but they are here today still pushing on. I've heard, I think it's for the first time, that I've met a lot of young entrepreneurs, and I'm happy that we have young entrepreneurs. You are still here despite the COVID pandemic. Your enterprises are still ticking. They're still creating jobs for young people. They're still delivering products and services, quality ones, to the masses. For that reason, I beg that we clap hands for ourselves. As I said, I'm making these remarks on behalf of the Honorable Minister. We are aware that businesses, locally and globally, have been affected by the COVID-19. Some have closed, literally, they have closed. But as I said, we are here today with young people who are still in business. You have braved hard times, and you are resilient enough that against all odds, you are still operating. As the minister committed during the first CEO cocktail in Lilongwe, he has asked me to recommit here that government will do all it can to uplift the businesses of young people and make sure that they thrive in a conducive environment. I've just remembered that the general manager from Press Corporation talked about conducive policy environment. That's indeed the responsibility of government. And let me share that as government, there are policies that have been put in place, or there are programs that have been put in place to make sure that SMEs, especially for youth, they grow and thrive. I want to make a particular mention of a youth business strategy, business incubation strategy that has been developed. The CEO for CIMED has mentioned of business incubations. It's a new concept in Malawi. So what we're trying to do as a government is to make sure that as a new concept, we put together a framework that is going to guide its implementation. So as government, we have already done that. We have done it in collaboration with Ministry of Trade and Industry. But again, I just want to draw your attention to this other program. I know it has always been there, but now it has been rebranded, it has been recapitalized, and this is called the National Economic Empowerment Fund. Why has government put this fund? Is to make sure that we provide financing to young people, youth SMEs that are normally unbankable with our commercial banks. Not that the commercial banks, they don't have the youthful products, but we still want to make sure that there is a wide menu where young people go in and find financing for their SMEs. I want to challenge you. You go to NIF, you should be able to find a product that fits your business according to the level and also according to the nature of the business. It is the desire of government to see that young people's businesses are thriving. More importantly, government is aware that the realization of the ambitious 1 million jobs requires concerted efforts from various stakeholders, including young people. Therefore, it is always proper and right that government supports businesses and innovations that provide solutions to challenges rocking the country, as well as create more jobs for young people. As I said, you bear with me. I'm going to repeat some of the things that have already been mentioned. In particular, I want to talk about the youth innovation, the youth business incubation hubs. I know the CEO for CIMEDI has mentioned about it, but also to expand, to say that CIMEDI is not the only institution that has business incubation centers. As a ministry, we have partnered with different organizations, and I'm going to mention them, that we have partnered and established business incubation centers with MHub in Lilongwe, and is focusing on ICT. We have a business incubation center at Luana, it's called AgriBiz Hub. It's supporting young people in agro-processing. We have a business incubation center at MAST, and is focusing on mining. And they're also working with CIMEDI to polish up the minerals that are there. We have a business incubation center at Itanpe Farms, which is also supporting young people in agro-processing. There is an incubation center at Polytechnic, is focusing on manufacturing. Actually, when you go there, you'll be impressed. You find young people printing in 3D. There's a business incubation there. There's another one at Mzuni, which is also focusing on ICT. And we have SOS and DAP. They also have business incubation centers. So these are centers that you can walk in. And basically what they do, they receive anyone with a business idea. Just to agree with the general manager for press corporation, ideas are what are required, not financing. So you walk in with the idea, you find their mentors who are going to support you, make sure that you develop your idea into a business. And in some instances, if you want equipment, if you want working space, they'll provide that working space for you. And they'll try and make sure that they link you to is it financing institutions, is it if you want to register your business, they should be able to do that. So let's take advantage of this. I know we are already into business, but there should be some small things that probably we're still struggling with. We can walk into these business hubs for hand-holding and mentorship. As I said, I'm not going to take much of your time because I believe we need to network after listening to the speeches. I don't take this platform for granted. I, for one, am privileged that today I have met Madame Gia. I once worked as an intern at Old Mutual. So he's heading a very big business. Our expectation as a ministry is the small businesses that are here, they should be able to link up with these ones. Big businesses, FDH is here, National Bank is here. Link up with them and learn how they have survived throughout, their operations. I want, as as we eat, as we talk, let's get contacts, let's get the connections. At this point in time, allow me to stop and to thank you all for your kind attention. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Msusa. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think briefly, if I can use that word still after a few hours, that was what we had prepared for you as far as the program is concerned, but now we get to the gist of the moment. We now have to network, so allow me to request guest of honor to lead in the networking process, if I should say. But otherwise, I wish you a lovely night. Let's mingle, let's talk, let's receive the cards and give out the cards. I hope you brought your cards. It's going to be a good ground for networking and meeting new business partners. You never know. You might be saying that night at the CEO's cocktail, that's where you got your business partner. So once again, I'll leave you to it. But as you chat, remember we have these forms. Please make a pledge to partner with National Youth Council. You can still be trying your phone with the Airtel Money 211#. Make that small donation to the Youth Innovation Fund. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The bar is now open, please, in no particular order. Let's feel free.
From Crossroads Hotel, right at the heart of Blantyre. Nkhani imene imakambidwa kunoko ndiomwe nkhani yofuna kutukula achinyamata, ende ndizoona kuti tili nawo anyamata amene amathamangathamanga kupanga mabizinesi osiyana-siyana, koma ali ndi pena pamene amakhala ngati pamavutako pang'ono. Cholinga cha meeting imeneyi kunali kusonkhanitsa anthu awiri atatu kuti yayi tsogolo liwoneke. Ndakula ndanatsogolera
Zemombe
zikomo zina ndani
zinanga ndi Chifuniro Kandaya and the managing director wa Caris Invest and Consult.
Okay,
Sure.
mmene maonera mmene zakhalira mkati mukuona ngati ndizatsogolo
zinthu zatsogolo. One of the challenges zimene ma business amakumana nawo ndi nkhani ya kupeza ma players amu ecosystem amene angapange support mbali zosiyana-siyana business ni ndani. Munthu amatoka ndi business idea, koma business idea imafunika financing, business idea imafunika market, business idea imafunika anthu ena ake ndi technical support. Mkumano uwu wabweretsa anthu onse aja pamodzi, ndiyeno nchifukwa mkumano ndi wabwino kwambiri.
makamaka mwakamba nkhani ya financing. Munthu umatokhala ndi concept yabwino kuyamba ka business pang'ono. Mukuona kuti financing ikumavuta bwanji?
Okay, kumalawi kunoko tikakamba za financing ma models zake kwambiri timadalira kwambiri mabanki. Ndio munthu kuti oyamba kumene business akatenge loan ku banki chiongola zanja ndi chachikulu
kwambiri.
Wachinyamata oro wangwamba kumene kuti abweze loan imene ndizovuta. So malo ngati awawa apereka madera osiyana-siyana mmene ma businesses mmene boma layikira kuti ma businesses achinyamata topangidwa financing kwakhazikitsidwa thumba ati National Youth Fund. Komanso mabanki osiyana-siyana apanga ndondomeko zosiyana-siyana kuti wachinyamata angakhale ali wangoyamba kumene business atha kupeza kothandiza. So mkumano ndi wabwino kwambiri ndipo ukuoneka kuti uthandiza kwambiri kuti ma business achinyamata apite pasogolo.
Ine nathokoza kwambiri.
Zikomo kwambiri.
Tikuvunira zabwino.
Chabwino.
Kuti tione kuti business yanu ikule nayo.
Chabwino.
Zikomo
kwambiri.
Nathokoza. Ndi mmene tikuchezera kuno ku Crossroads Hotel. Ndizoona anthu awiri atatu akumavutika makamaka kuti business yawo ikule. Ena akupanga business zoweta nkhuku, ena ayamba ng'ombe zomwezi, komano kuti afikire mabanki osiyana-siyana zomakangati zovutirapo. Ndili naye mzanga Anet. Waona tu mkumano umene wapanga National Youth Council of Malawi
Asimedi
kuti azimayi nda azibambo anyamata nda atsikana makamaka amene akuyamba business
akumane
ukuno kufunika kwake ndikotani
kufunika kwake ndi kwabwino komanso tofunikira koposa that is alipo anthu ambiri amene akungopanga mwina mabizinesi awo siyanasiyana koma mwina amaziyang'anira pansi pomwe anayambira mona ngati sangasunthe mwina akhoza kukhala pomwepo ukaganizidwe nthawi zina so komano womwe unalipo apakati pa Asimedi komanso a National Youth Council uthandiza of Malawi uthandiza kwambiri kwathandiza anthu ngati amene anja kuti thandiza na nzeru thandiza naso kupitisa patsogolo ma business awo kuti munthu pena pake ufike pena pake zimatengera nzeru ya munthu nakuuza kuti apangani chonchi chifukwa yake mwina anthu abwera poyera kuti tiwathandiza anzathu amene mwina alibe kuthekera amene akuziyang'anira pansi
ndi zinthu zabwino kwambiri inetu mbale wange ndathokoza kwambiri tione kapena ucheze ndi munthu wina
ndicheze ndi munthu wina nane zimayi nzanga timveso tizimva mbali zonse
zizofunikira kwambiri ine ndisunte pamwe
ine ndasuntha ndikuita naso pompano monga mmene ndafotokozera kuti ndikhala ndikucheza ndithu ndi anthu osiyanasiyana apanso ndi mzimayi ndithu amene wachena I love your hair, I like your dress kuoneka zoti mwabeba kwambiri. Do you think nkumano umene ngati bungwe limene pobwera poyera National Youth Council komanso Asimedi kubwera poyera kupanga nkumano umene kuti athandize anthu, do you think zithandiza motani?
I think zimene zitithandiza kwambiri ifeyo my young entrepreneurs, even my entrepreneurs ora nayamba kalekale tizithogawana nzeru pa zinthu zimene timakumana nazo in the business. Ena amakhala kuti ali ndi experience pa zinthu zina ena alibe, so in the end ena mabiscoti aliphera kupanga business ifika alibe mentorship, alibe usogololi kwa anthu omwe akudziwa kale. Ndi azitilimbikitsa ena afe kuti tizitere komanso ndikuona kuti tizikhala ndi opportunities ambiri poti ukudziwa kuti ine ndimaprinta ma t-shirt uya ndi business ina titakuthandizana umunduwo.
So what advice would you give kwa munthu mwina amene ali ndi business kenaka kungopanga amuna sakuganiza zoti akuzosafika pena pake angoganiza ngati mwina pothera pake ndi pomwepo?
Zimene sodaphunzira lero kuti osamaziyang'anira pansi koma tiziyang'ana kutsogolo, and we should always think big. Kumaganiza kuti okay, business yangu yakunipasa 50,000 pa mwezi, mawa ndikuena ndizipanga ma 100,000 ma million ndizipita kutali. Ndithu aliyense ali ndi kuthekera, as long as you have passion, as long as you have the vision, as long as you are working hard, zose ndizotheka. Alright.
Mwajirangize neso ndaphunzira bogena kai.
Zikomo kwambiri.
Iya imene munde meti kuchitira kuno ku Crossroads Hotel mu mzinda wa Blantyre tikufotokozati kuti kunoko kundithukule mwambo umene apanga National Youth Council of Malawi mogwirizana ndi Asimedi GT. Zapa mwamba
kwambiri kwache and bineyo pena ife anyamata timapanga chibwana zinthu ngati izizi timakhala tikungozionera patali kapena mantha enieni. Mkumano huu wachita kuonetsa kuti zinthu ndizotheka kwa nyamata yona aliyense wondziko muno. Pano pandicheze ndi ena bwanji.
Tabicheza ndi munthu wina ineso ntamange ndone ziwiri zitatu ndikweraso nthawi
nayo. Kwambiri. Mmene tikupitiriza kucheza ndi anthu awiri atatu pano pa ndiloleni ndicheze ndi amene wanda Press Corporation Dr. Lighton Chitambo. Azogolere zikomo kwambiri. Takulandirani.
Zikomo kwambiri.
Mwayankhula momveka kwambiri mkatimu. Komano ndimangofuna kuti mu pairing pongo kuti anyamata kunjaku angapange motani achose mantha chifukwa pena amakhala ngati mantha awo ndamene akuwabweza mbuyo. Mungauze kuti yana anyamata.
Ine chowauza chinyamata nchonena kuti asakhale ndi mantha, asaope china chilichonse, angokhala ndi maganizo. Akhale anthu kuti ali ndi maganizo kuti zinthu zina zake afuna kupanga. Pamenepo ndipoyambira. Akatero ambe kuyang'anang'ana chithandizo choti kuti angatithandize kuti maganizowa apite patsogolo ndi angati ndi ndani, monso chithandizo chokuti amene angatithandize kuti mwina ayikemo zinthu zina m'maganizomo kuti zikhale zenizeni ndi ndani, koma poyambirira pa maganizo. Fa anthu amayang'ana maganizo kuti uyu tikhoza kuthandiza, uyu tikhoza kupanga chonchi, koma ukangokhala mangogona madandaula sizingagwira ayi.
Sono ena achinyamata nkumadandaula kuti chikhulupiriro mabungwe mabanki alibe kuti azikhulupirira achinyamata. Ndizoona zimenezo.
Zitokha zoona koma sizosaona, koma choti adziwe nchonena kuti mabanki samakana achinyamata okha. amakana aliyense chifukwa ali ndi malamulo awo amene amaperekera makobidi. Koma chifukwa choti mabanki akukana sizitanthauza kuti anthu asapange ma business. Sizitanthauza kuti anthu asapite patsogolo ndi maganizo awo. Pali anthu osiyanasiyana amene atamva maganizo anu akhoza kuti aya capital ndi pangani business, pangani choncho. Iwo atsekule maso aone zinthu ngati zimenezo. Asokosera mati undisokosera nkulinga utamva. Anene kumaganizo anga ndi awa mpaka anthu afike poto tintingo athandizani awo.
Mkati mutinaona amabanki awiri atatu, National Bank anabwera, IFDH anabwera. Ubwino wake nduti?
Ubwino wake ndionena kuti anthu amene wakamamva zimene ma entrepreneur akufuna, achinyamata akufuna, amakhala pansi chaka china chilichonse nkumangana kuti tipange ma product otani tathandize awo. So nzofunikira ifa amva zimene anyamata akuchita, ti ma business metu kukula, ndiwo aja pompano muona anapanga ma product marketing. Pali chakuti dzatengeni makobidi, ndizofunikira ifa chonena kuti mabanki nawo chironjo kuti atukule anthu ma customer awo. So ndizofunika kwambiri kuti anabwera ndipo amvetsetsa zimene achinyamata akufuna. And ndi chikhulupiriro kuti mabanki athu amakhala anthu ofuna maganizo komanso ofuna kusintha miyoyo yawo. Ndikuti tiona kusintha kukubwerapo.
Bwana Chitambo, ndatokoza kwambiri. Zikomo. Thank you. Ndi mmene tikupitiriza kucheza kuno ku Crossroads Hotel. Ndizoona kuti achinyamata akufuna kuti ma business awo akule. Achinyamata tili ndi chikumbokumbo kuti zoona zinthu zotheka. Chikayiko chinalipo choti amabanki sathandiza, koma amabanki taona lero kuno Africa kunena kuti zinthu ndizotheka kuti business yanu nanonzete kukula. Mbale wanga, ndi mmene zinthu zikuyendera.
Ndi mmene zinthu zikuyendera.
Inezo ndikusiya pano cheze.
Inezo undisiye ndichezeso ndizimasa. Monga mmene tikuchitira kuno Crossroads mu mzinda wa Blantyre takhala tikunena ndithu tikufotokoza kuti tikhala tikucheza ndi anthu osiyanasiyana apa tsopano kufika madamu akuoneka kuti ndi munthu wankulu oti siwazi bwana ndakulandirani.
Zikomo kwambiri. Ndine Edith Gia, CEO Old Mutual Malawi.
Wow. Malawi mukoza kuona zoti ndi CEO zomwe zili zinthu osati zachibwana. So do you think a National Youth Council of Malawi komanso ASMED mena akhazikisira ngati bungwe lauli zithandiza bwanji kwa anthu amene akupanga ma business?
Inetu mene ndaonera platform imene apereka National Youth Council of Malawi ndi ASMED ndi platform yapamwamba kwambiri. Aitana achinyamata, lero tamva achinyamata amene akupanga zinthu zozizwitsa zopatsa chidwi, kupanga ma business, akulemba anthu anzawo achinyamata anzawo ntchito. Imene yitu ndi platform yabwino. China chimene chimativuta kwambiri tikakhala ndi idea, nthawi zina mwina idea imatha kukanika kupita patsogolo chifukwa choti mwina palibe upangiri komanso mwina palibe support in form of ndalama. Achinyamata akabwera pamodzi they can do great things. Nde platform ngati izi ndizothandiza ndipo ndikwamema achinyamata onse kuti atengepo mwayi ndithu ndi platform imene apanga National Youth Council kuti adzitha kukumana ndi anyamata anzawo kupanga share my ideas komanso kupeza support kuti apite patsogolo ndi ma business awo.
Being an CEO si chinthu chapafupi ndikuziwa madusa mu zinthu zosiyana-siyana mavuto salepera nthawi yabwino imatha kufika. What advice would you give kwa munthu mwina amene amaziyang'anira pansi kapena mwina business yake sigwira patsogolo ili pamodzimodzi kuti kodi ndikutheka bwanji?
Choyamba ine kumene ndimagwira ntchito timakhulupirira kuti nthawi kusunga ndalama pa nthawi for example zimapezeka phindu kwambiri. Chimodzimodzi business iliyonse munthu akayamba adzitha kuyikamo commitment yonse, chidwi chonse, focus yawo yonse, ndipo adzipatsa nthawi kuti angathe kupita patsogolo. Chinthu sichimabwera tsiku lomwelo. Achinyamata onsewa ndikuwamemeza kuti chinthu sichimabwera tsiku lomwelo. Choyambirira ndi chimenecho. Chachiwiri, mu umodzi muli mphamvu. Kuyendera limodzi mupeza nzeru, kuyendera limodzi mupeza support. Nthawi zina kungopeza so munthu oti mudzipanga share kuti tikukumana ndi zovuta izi, tikukumana ndi kuli mwayi otere osiyana-siyana. Mu umodzi muli mphamvu. Nde ndikwamemaso achinyamata amene oti adzitha kukhala pamodzi.
Tathokoze kuendajeza nanu mani.
Zikomo kwambiri.
Zikomo. Iyayi mmene tikuchitira muno mzinda wa Blantyre ku Crossroads Hotel kucheza ndi anthu osiyana-siyana amene atenga nawo mbali pa pati imene ndithu ngati tinganenebe pati ngati choncho akuti CEO cocktail kumene kukamidwa zinthu zosiyana-siyana. Zinthu zozoti nzanga wabwera ndi zotani pano?
zinthu zayenda bwino
Zinthu zayenda
ndisaname
bwino, yeah.
chifukwa choti ma CEO onse ningonena kuti anthu amene amapanga business
Yeah.
chimene chimavuta kwambiri chinthu choti anthu amene amapanga business samaloziwa kolowera komanso mabungwe ngati a National Youth Council of Malawi komanso a CMED samadziwa kuti amene akupanga business ndi ndani, so zinthu zinali ngati chinambalala apapo anthu abwera pa Malawi amodzi zinthu zikuyenda bwino nditutu.
I think tilowe nkati kuti tione ziyenda bwanji.
Ine ndinosangalala kwambiri chifukwa zinthu zayenda bwino. Tamvanso kuti ma business incubator centers ambiri kupoli kunzuni ndi malo oti atsegula. Inuyo ndinu anthu oti mutakupanga zinthu zothekera, ndinu anthu oti inuyo musamazikayikire. Malawi tikufuna kuona Malawi amene anyamata amene azipanga zinthu zothandiza boma, zothandiza chitukuko cha dziko ndi zotheka. Panopa tikukupatsirani ku Mibawa Studios onani ma program otsatira. Zikomo kwambiri.